there she is. Yeah. You see, now you're there. So are you in your mobile now?
En el iPad.
An iPad.
En el iPad.
So you see, we always find a way. So welcome, dear Inmaculada. Pretty. I see now your face. Can you see yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I can hear like twice. I don't know why.
Maybe because you have headphones, or there is something else as well. And it is coming as well, like a white noise from you. It's a little white noise.
What about now?
Now it's better. What have you done?
Just take the microphone out.
You see, sometimes we want to do everything right, and it is just to release and let go.
Wait, I'm gonna close here. I think I have the computer also.
That's why you are listening twice. Yeah. You can hear me twice. I know you like him. You know you like me, but twice too much. So it's for a moment. So I'm just getting this a little bit far as well, so that we have a better perspective and not so nearby, like a wow pizza face.
Yeah.
Talking head.
Okay, I think we're good.
Okay.
Still I can hear, but I don't know. Now.
Okay, so welcome, Inmaculada. So I'm giving you a hug for the fact.
I heard you were talking about Speak and Inspire.
That is how we met us. Speak Inspire. And that was a game changing in my life at the time. And it was very important. And not only from the challenge itself, but because of people like you.
Yeah, I thought the same. It was the experience was really interesting, but the best part was the people, and I have kept contact with a few of us, and they are all like, you know, in that transition, and they were all and it was amazing in that sense.
I saw that Down as well. She's as well in your group, and I still have sometimes contact with Down and with Marianne and so on.
Yes,
it was a wonderful experience together. I remember you came in the second or in the third run of the challenge, or was you already from the beginning?
From the beginning, and then I joined again in the second round.
I remember, because we were from the beginning. It was a smaller group, and then it was growing. And it was very nice. Well, Lisa is a wonderful teacher. So could you imagine for a few years ago that we would make a challenge with Lisa Nichols and have live Q&A with Lisa Nichols? I was like, wow!
It was, and she's so alive that it's
so inspiring. So
inspiring. Pure inspiration.
I remember wishing to be a little bit 1% like Lisa at the time. I really wish from my heart to be a so talented speaker like she is. But I understood as well at the time we made the challenge that we have different talents and different ways to talk. And I needed to digest this all in my own pace. And it was wonderful. So, dear Inmaculada, just tell us, where are you now in this beautiful earth?
I am in Scotland. I'm still in Scotland, and
Scotland.
I've been here for 12 years now.
12 years are you in Scotland? And you are from, originally,
from Spain, from the south of Spain, where the cherry wine comes from.
magical place as well, magical person in another magical part of Mother Earth. So interesting. And just tell us, please, what do you do for a living? What is your passion? Because as I understood, and that is why you are here, you are the one that got the bridge between working, but at the same time representing your passion. So what do you do for a living? Present us, please, your magical work.
When I came from Spain, I studied wines, and I work with wines right now. I work as a sommelier, as a wine advisor. And I work with it professionally, but then my passion is also has a lot to do with my process of learning about wine, because part of the process was to pay attention to turn your attention to what is there, what is inside the glass, what you are tasting, and somehow that connected a lot with me being born in a place where wine is made, and with my childhood, with a lot of part of me that was left behind. So I it was like 5 years ago, it was like cling, connecting those two, my passion for wine and my memories and my passion for asking questions and see what is there, you know. And it started like that. I started to organize wine tastings, and with people we explore those questions, and somehow conversations started to pop up about wine, but also about that sending our attention to what is there. So it was really interesting, because for 5 years I was writing about the wines and about the experience with the wine, and I know it sounds a bit the wine world is so, you know, and sommeliers
it's not only big, it is fascinating, and it holds our own mystery, our own perception, and as well our own mastery. So how is the name of this profession? So I know that in sommelier.
Yeah.
Because yesterday I was trying to search, and I remember how it is in Spanish. How is the name in English? No, sommelier. So you are sommelier.
Yes.
That is one.
Wine advisor.
And you went to Scotland to learn how to be a sommelier.
Yeah, a little bit.
But Inmaculada, what happened? It wasn't anything. Why Scotland? Why there? It is such a change from South Spain, and remember, South Spain may be the dream of thousands of human beings. And so you go out of South Spain, go to Scotland, and you become sommelier. So how it was for you? It was a call. It was because of the school. How did you find your path to Scotland?
Well, Scotland was the option that offered a job in that environment, and UK was the option also because the school, the international school for Master of Wine or for sommelier, there are 2 places in the world. One is in UK, the other one is in the States. I thought UK was closer to home.
Okay, so in a matter of sense, it's a little bit near. Let's our flight, and I want to go home.
Exactly.
Okay. So how long you have to fly if you want to fly home from Scotland?
Well, there is no to home to the south of Spain. There is no direct flight. So after many years doing different combinations, I found Aberdeen, where I am, Aberdeen, Alicante, Seville is the
best route.
one.
The best and route. How long do you need to be home? So how many hours you need to be home then?
That will be around, well, 3 hours is to Alicante, and from Alicante to Seville 1 hour more. But you have to wait in the middle a bit. But yeah, about 4 or 5 hours in a good combination.
Yeah, but it's much better than fly to America. That will be depends upon where you're flying. Minimum 12 hours flight, so it's near.
Yeah. And that would be the nearest point. Yeah, definitely better, closer to home.
And you told us that you were already working with wine when you left your homeland, and then you just came to learn something that we call sommelier, and that is a really such an interesting work. And when did it happen? You were starting to talk that you organized just some wine tastings, and then I saw in your pictures as well that includes food, that includes as well art, and the conversations started to pop up. And when did you realize that those conversations were the biggest gift of these meetings? And when did you come to the idea of creating this book that is now on the making in your life? And it is a connection, principally in a time that we crossed together as Humankind last year, and still in a very big question and how it's going to evolve. There was a time that we were apart, but we had now we had still technology. And how it was for you? How did it came to this point?
Well, it was a process. From the moment I started to organize the wine tastings and to celebrate them, I started writing, and the writing wasn't technical for me. It was more about the part of the wine that I love, which is the people, the soil, the air, the places in the planet where the wine is, the grapes grow and the wines are made. And that was my connection with story, with telling stories. And I think, I'm quite sure people came to the tastings to learn those stories, okay? With time, those conversations, they were usually around a table, okay? And when you are from a country also that when we meet around the table, conversations are amazing. And we share, and when we share the wine and the food, wine for me is food. It is not an alcoholic, it's not just an alcoholic beverage, it's food also. It goes with food. So in those conversations, I realized I was so rich. So people were so willing to express themselves and to share their lives, to share the stories of the wines in one hand, and the food and the stories of the people that were present became like entangled. And for me, it was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And then COVID happened.
Yes, we know.
And yes, and I got an email. So I was thinking in those what to do with these stories, okay? And I got an email on my inbox, call it serendipity, from Akimbo, a group of Ansek Roden that they organize like workshops for storytellers to learn the technique, to learn how to tell stories better. And I was like, oh my, it's like someone have read my mind, and the email was there. So I jumped in, and that was last year, about now, last year, about a year ago. And the process there, I met people that creative people, and I'm part of a community, and they help me. I write every day and post it there, and they help me to develop my skills. And from there, and my practice of writing every day, I realized that what if people would love to hear those, to it's the idea is like a companion book. It's like a book that is going to be your company for 1 year, to pay attention, in flavors, in textures, in what surround us, in flowers now that it's spring, life around us, because wine for me is alive, so it's part of life, and that's how it started to develop.
It's interesting because there is so much speculation about which of the beverages in our world would be similar to the nectar of the gods, unwritten, or soma, or the immortality elixir, and so on. And some researchers show like would be wine, and others, let's say principally here in Germany, they tell there is beer.
Of course.
They don't know what this beer. In Germany, a little suspect because it is the national drink. But and it's very interesting because wine has an effect on those, but creates as well atmosphere. Depends upon those the kindred spirits that are together. Exactly what you described. There is this companionship, and you feel in a safe space to talk.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's just that it's a simple act of getting together, share a food, share a wine, and start conversation. And it's so invitational because when you are there, the invitation is on the table. It's like open up, and then you just start chatting and sharing and tasting, and there is nourishment from the words, from the food. It's a yeah. And
there's a history.
Everyone eats. I mean, everyone has that experience of eating together. So
there's so many stories about wine. And when I see you fascinated by histories of wine, I remember there was a time in my yoga teacher, there's a time that you search for identity as a yoga teacher. So I was not drinking at all, as just water and so on. And then after I was vegetarian, not drinking, and then we tried to be vegans at the time, me and my ex-husband. And we were living in Spain at the time, in Barcelona. It was over 13 years ago, and it was a time that when you ask for a vegetarian sandwich, they would give you a fish sandwich.
Yes.
Yeah. And they would just like wonder, what? You don't drink wine? Are you crazy? And I was in love with a poet, and it's Rumi. I'm still in love with him. And he had a very interesting life because he was a Al-Quran teacher, and everything was forbidden: music, drinking, dancing, and so on. And then one day he met a teacher that was Shem of Tabriz, and they just got locked in a room, just the two of them, enhanced in this conversation and expansion of consciousness about this conversation, and drinking wine. Some say no, they were not drinking wine. Other historians say yes, they drank wine, and so on. But after, there are many poems of him, like about the urgence of life, about the urgence in wine, and the passion of lovers and conversation that flows. There are one translation of this, one Persian group, Ahura is the name, and it talks about the urgence of wine. It is like the urgency of lovers. It is the urgency, and now after everything we are crossing now and all the uncertainties that are coming, I would say there is the urgency of humankind, because never before we could have imagined that we would cross times, that we would be left alone home, but we have technology. But we learn together that nothing in this world can replace our presence, or what happened in these magical encounters when you are allowed to slow down. And you were talking about slowing down, getting down, and just be open and quiet and celebrating life in this moment, and allowing conversation to flow. Sometimes when I look behind and see my life 1.5 years ago, seems impossible that I would accept an invitation to sit around the table and just slow down and just, don't matter who is there and what's going to happen. We just talk about wine at first, which wine, from where it comes, and then slow down with a sip, because it seems not compatible with the kind of life that many of us are living in big towns, 2-3 jobs, and me being a mother, divorcing and having so much stuff in my head, seems like a dream what you are describing. And it is like it's like going to a retreat of conversation. But now during COVID and the times, I don't know how it was for you, but I discovered who really stands for me, who are real friends. New friends arrive as well through technology, and how deep the changes happen inside, and how presence, how I'm starving as well to sit around the table, have a good wine and have good conversation, just relax. I don't even want to know if you are from Mars or from Venus. I just don't care. Let's have a good talk and relax. What would you say what would you say from your experience now, Immaculada? How is the future of wine? So how is how is your feeling about the future of wine? So we are getting, and not okay, we are not talking about being addicted to wine, or maybe yes, being addicted to wine. So what is about the future of the conversations around wine, and what is the tendency?
I totally believe that we are going to find a way to commune with nature and be part of it.
Just we are going back to find, because we are part of it. Let's say we just forgot about it. No? So,
exactly. We are going to find the way back to it. And being part of nature wine is there, because it's true that as an industry, like in many other industries, it may get stripped of the soul that wine has when you treat it as a product. But there are many winemakers that are really respectful and love the Mother Earth, the way Mother Earth give them the grapes, and it's sacred for them, that relationship. And then wine becomes.
God! So you are saying that the vibration, the energy from the maker, that it makes sense. it makes sense because we are getting more careful, and slowing down, we are getting much more careful with what really matters in our private lives, and the vibration, the communication, and as well the commitment of the makers. Don't matter who are the makers, but if they are really committed to Mother Earth, that is wonderful, really wonderful, because we are drinking, in matter of fact, the bountifulness of the earth.
Yeah, exactly. Is wine is coming from a fruit, and the fruit is coming from a vine, and the vine is connected to earth. So it's a link straight away to Mother Earth, and we become part of it just drinking it. So why not to have or to give the opportunity to Mother Earth to express whatever every year, whatever it comes, and we just taste it, and let's to be part of it. And that's wine for me. It's just as simple as that and as complex as that. But I see the future of wine as the future of food, as we will come back to Mother Earth, and to have that relationship, that genuine relationship with her.
That's beautiful. I was dreaming a few days ago that I wake up and nature overtake us. There is no big towns anymore and so on, just reminiscences of this. And we're in a kind of futuristic world where nature just takes back what really is, and just those that are so ready to be a part of it. It is a vibration, then we can still alive. Other ones are going to go down because they are very incarcerated in this mindfulness of no, nature is outside and here is the town, so limitation. So we forget that the towns are over earth, and don't matter how high you are, 27, 28 over the earth, we are over earth. And that was quite impressive, and I was really very impacted but about this dream, because it was surreal. So you come out and you are living in something that concrete was half broken, but it is a very big tree growing all around, and I was like sheltering on a big tree. My home was that big tree, and I was taking care of her, she was taking care of me. And outside, cars were just driving around where the trees and then the animals. It might be a crazy dream, but it feels like one day our home will be like this again, and in harmony. So there is as well another way of communication with animals, and another way of respect as well. I feel that we are crossing all these challenges now because we are being too long disrespectful with earth and as well animals. And sometimes I just feel ashamed for being representing the human race when you and now I'm so ready to get into this next level, life and resonance with nature.
There is an exhibition. I am part of a creative community, as I said, and this year, 2021, we have launched an online exhibition with three parts. The first part was gathering in March, and now in July is coming brewing. And one of the pieces I'm gonna release 2 pieces there, and one of the pieces is a dialogue between mother culture and mother nature.
Ah.
in the yes in the Garden of Eden.
Oh.
And they are just there talking, having a conversation. So I think it will be alive the 15th of July. I will put the link on your Facebook page.
Yes, please. I want to participate, and I don't know exactly how it's going to evolve. I watch as well that you create like online events around wine, conversation, and so on. Let us know. I want to participate, and I see much more folks coming to have a sip of wine in vinum veritas, to having the living the authenticity, and maybe just listening at the beginning, and maybe one day when voice comes to authenticity, then we are allowed to talk, because it's a process as well, isn't that? You step out of this avatar, you get to represent yourself into society, and then stepping into your authenticity. It is one, sometimes it's not so nearby, that step, and when it happens, you are just so ready to talk about. And I see your project very connected to authenticity and going back to values that are very important for humankind in general. It's beautiful. Of course, you have to let us know about it, and we will help you how to spread the word to other folks that are searching exactly for this opportunity to connect.
Yeah, it's another part of wine, and another part of this paying attention to what it is. For me, has been really interesting to be part of, to belong, to feel that I belong here, I belong to this community, or to Mother Earth, or to my town, or here in Scotland, because I move a bit around, and it needs time, and I've been here 12 years, and now I can say I belong here also. And the majority of that sensation comes from the trees and the people also. But nature here in Scotland is so green, so abundant. So it's just, and when I arrived, the first welcoming was from the trees. Before the people, I arrived to a place where I live. There are not many trees, or not as many as here, and I was surrounded by trees, and I was like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. And I was welcome in this country with the trees, and I feel I am also part of this land, of this place, and much of it is because of Mother Nature.
That is so interesting that you talk about this, because I'm too someone that moved from a country land to somewhere else.
Yes.
Where nature is very different. But in Brazil, so part of Brazil that I come from South Brazil as well, and now I live in South Germany. And very different from the other parts, as we connect to the images of Brazil. Brazil, for all folks, is Rio de Janeiro and beautiful women's almost naked and so on. That has nothing to do with real Brazil day by day, and not, even less with Brazil I came. So the equator, and we have winter, we have lots of Europeans, and look at me, I'm very white. And Brazilians are really dark skinned and so on. That is not true. So we have lots of Brazilians that are white, or even white, or blonde hairs and so on. And one biggest part of Brazil for me was nature. I'm from a big town, but at the time I was living there, I didn't got it always to connect with nature. It was always outside in a formal ritual, or you go to a waterfall and so on. But normally during day by day duties in life, I didn't felt this connection to nature. And Many things that we start to missing in our inside, and we just project to the outside, wanting to be loved or to belong to someone or to some religion or to some, I don't know what matter what, is this missing call of nature. When I came to Germany the first time, like you, I was so impressed. At first, velocity here is the speed is just like a parallel world.
Yes.
But the trees, the nature, when it comes back from winter and awakes in all resplendence and magnificence, it is something you have to see when you are here. And the big old trees, chestnut trees, and so on, and wow, it is such a connection. So I would dare to say that after 20 years, Germany is my mother, and the nature here holds as well a very special energy that I can feel. I feel the trees alive. I can talk with the trees. I know, okay, just think that I'm crazy and you have your day. Have a good love. I don't care.
Well, I'm crazy too, guys.
Talk with plants and so on. And I was so lost in noise the time I was living in Brazil, and as well worried with existence, with ground existence, that my time in Germany in abundance, principally abundance of nature, because nature is not asking us, hey Noeli, hey Immaculada, can I grow a leaf? What do you think about? It's just don't care, just share with us and gift us with abundance all the time. Even in a little hole in the concrete in the street, nature is coming out and teaching us that she is the owner of this world. And here in Germany, I remember I was as well 5 years away of Germany, living in Spain, your homeland, but not in your hometown. I was in Barcelona and after in Mallorca. And when I got pregnant in Mallorca, the first thing that really came into my senses was how much I missed the trees, this freshness of the woods. And the wish of walking in the woods, I was like, are you crazy? You always wanted to live in the beach, but it was so hot. And middle summer to the end of summer in Mallorca, all the green plants start to die and giving space to death, let's say, because it is too dry. And this bountifulness, this greenness, this wow, everything alive here, I was missing it. I was really missing it. That helped me lots how to locate that feeling of belonging. Even I'm not like you yet, so maybe when I grow a little bit more, I'll be like you, that I feel that is my place in the world. I still feeling a little whole, and like I love here, I feel accepted here, even being foreign, but it is not exactly where I feel like mother is my mother, Mother Earth is my mother in this space. Even if I feel very welcome. So I'm still not knowing exactly where my wine, where my table, or where my pizza are, but I learned by going that sipping the wine, sipping the bountifulness, sipping the nectar, sipping the soma of where you are can help lots, and being open to those that really feel attracted to the flow of the now in your life.
Exactly.
Without pretending.
Exactly.
Just without pretending, and feel to transform.
I don't think one of the time in wine world, time is really special, because wine cannot exist without time. There is life in it, and when it like us, it grows and evolves and change, and when you move wine from one town from a place to another, wine changes
and tastes different.
So, and adapt, and it needs time to settle. And that we need that too. When we move from a place to another, I've never been on holidays, like proper holidays, that you go to a place and you just you know, the typical tourist going to a place and be there and then there and then there and then there and then. So I say, okay, I've been in Singapore and that's it. Tick the box. I never done that. I never could. No,
Why?
No, because like wine, I need time to settle and to appreciate what surrounds me. I can't go spend a week in a place and go and leave and say I've been there because I haven't. There is no way.
You just crossed through.
Yeah, you just cross through. You just want to tick the box. When you go to a place and I have a sensor. When you go to a place and you know what weather is gonna be, then you have learned the place.
Oh.
When you go to a place and you see what is there and you say, okay, it's gonna rain tomorrow, and it's true, it rains, then you probably know the place.
Wow. There's
Yeah.
old knowledge from those that were so connected with the land. My grandma was like this. She was just looking at the sky, just sniffing a little bit around, and she was like, tomorrow or maybe today night is going to rain now. Huh? Grandma, how do you know this? It is like this. You just observe Mother Nature.
Exactly.
Okay. Wow. Yes.
Then you can say, okay, I've been there. I know that place. If the other part is no, the place don't get you and you don't get the place.
Mm-hmm. And before we just lived in awe with lots of wishes to know more histories, just share us one of the histories around the table last year that really impacted you, and share it with us, please, this history. And if you can, at the end of this history, just give us some tips of delicious wine we could dare to try. And yeah, I don't know if the place you work, well, it would be a bit of nonsense to send wine to Germany, but it can be that we have the luck of having some of the same here, because Germany is a place where we appreciate really good wine, and we have really good wine.
You do.
Can be maybe that we have something, but if not, there is did you have the possibility to send wine to Europe, Immaculada? Is this possible? If you just get so in love with your indication at the end of the history that we can't live without the soma, the nectar of the gods, is the possibility? Could be that you can send us something.
Well, actually, right when COVID started, I was traveling. I was in this process of knowing a producer. It's not from here. We have wine at the south of UK, but Scotland has not enough warm days and light to produce grapes. But there's whiskey, which is fantastic too.
I wanted to tell something about whiskey, but as we were talking about why, maybe you would bring the subject of whiskey, because I was like, maybe don't talk about whiskey, no, Ellie.
Yes.
Scotland,
we can talk about whiskey.
They don't know spirit life.
It's so beautiful. So I was in this process I connected with a producer in Holland at the east of Holland. I never knew before that Holland was a country where they produce wine. It's right at the border with Germany, this place, and he is very small producer, very really small producer. And his wines are amazing. And I asked him, would you send some wine to UK so we can taste it there? And he looked at me and he said, I'm happy as how I am.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't need produce more. I just want what nature gives me. That is what I got, and it's enough for me to live with the people around me buying my wine. I don't need to export wine to you. And I was like, okay. It was a surprise because UK is kind of the center of where everyone wants to send wine, because here people drink a lot of wine. It's a really good market for wine.
I know.
Yeah, so everyone wants to send wine to UK so they can sell more. This guy said, no, thank you. I'd rather I stay like I am and sell my wine around here, because I don't want to produce more, because what I have is small, and if I produce more, I'm gonna press nature to give me more, and I don't want to do that now. And that was a really beautiful lesson for me. So I'm learning about him and his wine. So I'm looking forward to come back to Holland and do a wine tasting there with his wines. I love that.
Well, just invite me. I go to meet you in
Holland.
Yeah, it's not far away.
It's actually close enough.
Yeah. And I live in a space in Germany that's very new because of its wine production. And I must say that I started tasting the wine here, and the best wines I taste until now are the ones just made by magical people, the ones being made not in very big productions. One that just being made with that love to the small detail and so on. And I'm surrounded by winers.
Yeah. Oh my God.
All green, and grapes are just growing. And it's really beautiful. You have to come here. So I don't know exactly if it's exactly a place that you find big treasures, but I know that you have other contacts as I have, and I'm very interested in receiving you here around at the time that we have the new wines, and that will be September, October, I think. And well, it is the wine fest time here around, where all the communities get together, and then we have wine fest. And we hope that this year we are allowed to celebrate wine fest again.
Yes.
And there are so many different kind of wines, from very sweet to very sour to very earthy and so on. That is just wow.
I love German wine.
Really. And which kind of wine would you just give us a tip that we could try until we see us again for a beautiful next Easter with you? Just give us a tip of a wine that we could dare to taste.
Okay. Well, if I had to choose one, I would go to my town wine, sherry. Manzanilla is called. And it's a sherry wine, so it's 45. It's a strong in alcohol. It's high alcohol. It's around 16, 17 degree volumes. It's a wine made in an area salty. Salt is in the wine.
Really? Salty?
Yes. It's salty. It's amazing because when you taste it, you can taste saltiness, which is not usual there are other places that have that property too, but Manzanilla is the yeast is the natural yeast is in the air, and the air is salty. It's kind of, it comes from the sea, and salt it has been a trade in my town also for many hundreds of years. So it's a wine that is kind of, so it's perfect for fish. It's perfect with, yes, delicious. With anything that you can make, like for example sliced tomato, salt, vinegar, a little bit of olive oil, and manzanilla. And it's just that simple, and it's just perfect. So manzanilla cherry, if you dare.
Cherry. So you have to give us the link afterwards. I will link as well to the interview. And
okay.
Wow, looking forward to taste some wine with you. And if you are going to organize any event online on tasting and so on, let us know as well.
Okay.
We'll be willing.
I have, because of COVID, I have organized tasting online. It's a little bit of, it's a creative kind of a creative experience, because the idea is to open the pantry, see what is there, open your cellar, see what is there, and try to match the food from the pantry and the wine from your cellar and create something like a tapa and a glass of wine and taste it. So I go through the process with whoever is there, and we learn how to match wine and food, and we learn what we can do with whatever is in the pantry. Simple things. I value simplicity when it comes to food and wine to match, you know. So yeah, it's quite interesting to do that, to work with your creativity and people bring things that are from their country, like culture and food from their country. So it's really interesting to share from different countries what is in the pantry, you know.
Wow, nice. We will be just looking forward for the next interchange, and let us know. We are going to help you as well to spread the word about it.
Yes.
Dear Immaculada, just tell us your finishing words, because we are talking, it's delicious, and we are talking almost 1 hour now.
Oh, wow.
Like a few minutes. And tell us some words about your feelings and how you're going to lead the next steps into your book, and as well these conversations. Just some final words of inspiration about this beautiful project, and we'll be looking forward to meet you, if it's not online, personally, because I'm for sure going with you to taste some wine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There is a word in German that I love, that is Heimat.
Heimat, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think I would love to share that word, or the concept, or the feeling of Heimat, or how a place is so important for us, for humans, to be humans, how place and humans are connected, and we can't close our eyes and say no to that. You know? It's impossible. It's like it's Heimat, is there, it's homeland, and homeland is us. So yeah, when you look for a wine, when you drink wine, think about or feel the land that wine comes from, and the people who make them, because it's there. It's that beautiful when you drink wine and think about that.
We will. Thank you so much for this conversation, dear one, and we'll be looking forward to see you again in your wine conversations, and as well looking forward for your book. You let us know, and
of course,
you to spread the word. So wish you a beautiful day from Germany.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, and have a nice day, all of you.